Ebert review, Mel Gibson leading a war against English tyranny in Braveheart. A little girl discovers a friendly ghost in Casper. And Keanu Reeves stars as a futuristic data courier in Johnny Mnemonic.
You know that tingling feeling when your foot falls asleep? I think I'm made of that.
Straight from the pages of comic books, it's Casper, the Friendly Ghost, from Steven Spielberg's production company, and one of 5 summer movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert, along with Mel Gibson's latest adventure, a teenage love story with Drew Barrymore, and more action from speed star Keanu Reeves. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Our first movie is the new special effects comedy Casper, based on the comic books about everyone's favorite friendly ghost. As the movie opens, a zillionaire's spoiled daughter is furious that her father died and left her only a broken-down mansion in Maine. But then she becomes convinced the property conceals buried treasure. The problem is she can't get rid of the ghosts that haunt old Whipstaff Manor, so she calls in the wrecking crews.
I want my treasure. They can't haunt a pile of rubble for sake.
That's Kathy Moriarty as Kerrigan, the villainess. When that approach doesn't work, she hears about a ghost psychiatrist who specializes in solving ghostly problems so the spirits won't have to linger in this world. The ghost doc is played by Bill Pullman from While You Were Sleeping, and his daughter is Christina Ricci from The Addams Family.
Oh, see? No ghost there. Then we can check over here, right? Oh! No, there's no ghost in there. We can even check over here. There. See?
And that, of course, is Casper the Friendly Ghost, the creation of the special effects wizards at Industrial Light and Magic.
Cool.
Casper wouldn't be much of a problem if it weren't for his 3 obnoxious uncles named Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso. They don't much like creatures of flesh and blood.
I feel like Oprah on hiatus.
You look like Oprah on hiatus. You know what the problem is? Casper's got no respect for us.
After all we've done for the little glow worm.
Yeah. Hey! What the hell do you think you're doing, Bowbed? This floor used to be dirty enough to eat off of.
But we have company.
Oh, yeah? Well, company loves misery.
The key to the movie, I think, is the relationship between Casper and Christina Ricci, whose friendship helps the rest of the story seem more than simply contrived. The real stars of the movie are the special effects, though, and there are a lot of them. Colorful, bizarre, and sensational, including a chair that plummets down through the mansion and any number of lonely, moonlit cliffs and weird scientist laboratories. Casper is not very original as a story, but as an exercise in visual imagination, it's superb.
Yeah, that's exactly the basis on which I like it, and it is the look of the picture. The 3 uncles, I mean, this is a real major achievement in special effects work, and they're absolutely entertaining. They kick the story into high gear every time they come on screen. You would almost want to go back and just study how they're done and how they're drawn. They're very exciting, and at the center, I like the story of the little boy ghost who wants to be loved and can't. But you're right, the story with the daughter and all that.
Yeah, it's the special effects. And you know, when you see these 4 ghosts who each have their own personalities, you realize just a few more bits or bytes in that computer and they'll be closer to their dream of being able to create
human figures.
Human figures, you know.
Yeah.
Throw in Marilyn Monroe, and Humphrey Bogart. Those are the 2 they always mention.
Right.
I mean, these creatures are pretty real.
Oh, it's very impressive work.
Yeah.
Okay, next movie, and our next film has the provocative title Mad Love and stars a couple of youthful heavyweights, Chris O'Donnell, Al Pacino's young co-star in Son of a Woman, and Drew Barrymore, who's been taking on some daring roles. But this picture, as it kept on reeling, had me asking, what's this movie really about? Barrymore plays a girl with some emotional problems. She argues with her verbally abusive dad. She dances wildly to rock music in her room, and all of this is seen through the lens of a telescope by her Seattle neighbor, Chris O'Donnell, playing a straight kid who is mesmerized by her wildness.
Are there any other secrets you want to tell me about?
This one, that one.
Okay.
How'd you get that?
When she finds out about his spying on her through the telescope, she freaks. Frankly, I thought it would be more true to her character to enjoy the idea.
You spied on me. Do you have any idea how that feels?
What do you think I felt? I mean, if you were me and you saw you, wouldn't you look?
Barrymore's character is truly troubled, and eventually she's hospitalized. He helps her escape, and together they plan a road trip to freedom. I didn't believe he'd actually go along, one of many scenes in Mad Love that seemed overwritten and phony.
The next song that comes on, if it's Western, we go north. If it's rock, we go south. Yes. Okay. If the next song that comes on is a girl, then we go west. And if it's a boy, we go east.
Okay.
That's it. Southwest.
On the most obvious level, I suppose Mad Love is a warning to kids about not romanticizing emotional illness. Suicide is not painless. But I thought Mad Love stacked the deck against her dad, and also that it did glamorize her rebellion for the sake of audience entertainment value. I know that the director and writer and stars of this picture are serious talents, but I think Mad Love is pretty phony.
I was really impressed by how phony it wasn't. I think it's very interesting how the Chris O'Donnell character is a responsible kid.
Right.
Who realizes too late that he's in over his head with a woman who has real big problems, and then tries to behave toward her parents, and toward the world in a responsible way. And when you say you didn't believe her reaction when she caught him spying on her, she's manic depressive. One day she might have been thrilled by the idea, the next day she might be angered by the idea. That's the whole basis of her personality.
Well, I thought that, I guess the choice I thought she'd make would be delighted by the idea.
Yeah, but when you have a disease like that, you can't make a choice
Roger,
like
I guess
that.
what I'm saying, let me sort of restate what my objection to the whole picture is. I think that it is her dysfunctional behavior, the way it is directed and put on the screen is for entertainment value, and it sort of embellishes
I've seen so many movies, including Gun Crazy, which Drew Barrymore was also in, that are really done for entertainment value. This one is really trying to deal with these issues in a thoughtful way that impressed me.
Okay.
When we come back, Mel Gibson is a Scots freedom fighter in Braveheart.
If we win, we'll have what none of us have ever had before. A country of our own.
You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. What will you do without freedom?
Mel Gibson plays William Wallace, a 13th century Scotsman who led his countrymen against the English in Braveheart, a new epic filled with blood, thunder, romance, and history. It's a mixture of A Little Merchant in Ivory and a lot of Mad Max, and a rousing adventure story that's especially good during the bloody battle scenes. Not much is known about the real William Wallace, but Gibson's fictional version is a fierce nationalist who defeats the English and then defies them.
Here are Scotland's terms. Lower your flags and march straight back to England, stopping at every home you pass by to beg forgiveness for 100 years of theft, rape, and murder. Do that, and your men shall live. Do it not, and every one of you will die today.
Between his campaigns, Wallace finds time for romance. His first love is his childhood sweetheart, played here by Catherine McCormick.
I love you. Always have. I want to marry you.
And later, he finds an unlikely ally in the French-born Princess of Wales, who betrays her English husband and father-in-law to inform Wallace of England's plans. She's played by Sophie Marceau.
This is the second time you have warned me of danger. Why?
There will be a new shipment of supplies coming north next month. Foods and weapons, they will...
No, sir. Why do you help me? Why do you help me?
Because of the way you are looking at me now.
Braveheart is the second movie this season about warrior Scotsmen. The first was Rob Roy. I liked them both for different reasons. Rob Roy was more cerebral and down to earth, showing the brutish living conditions of the time and making us feel how exhausting a sword fight really is. Braveheart is more in the tradition of great Hollywood action epics and swashbucklers with thousands of thundering hooves, rivers of blood, and a charismatic hero. It's a very ambitious film and a good one. Mel Gibson, who not only stars but directs, has a sure hand for adventure.
I liked it too, Roger. I think that this film is also pretty gritty, actually, and what I liked about it is that he showed how dirty and how brutal life was in the 13th century. I don't think this is that romanticized medieval time period that you might be referring to with other epics. I thought that was, in fact, I thought it was kind of bold. This guy, Mel Gibson, obviously a mainstream hero, he could have made a real mainstream picture, and maybe and obviously the great sword fight, I mean the great horse fights are in that tradition. But I thought that this is a pretty rough film. It's very intense, and I thought it was pretty bold of him to do it that way.
Yeah, and the art direction is good too. Those kind of crude wooden forts and so forth that they have up there on the further borders of the English Empire.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
He's breaking a little ground there, I think. When we come back, Keanu Reeves, fresh from that wild bus trip in Speed, is an embattled futuristic courier of data storage on the information highway. Johnny Mnemonic is next.
Good girl, Janie. Brought him to the right place.
You can fix him?
I don't know. With his seepage, if I could work a download, I don't know if the product would be coherent.
The product? I just want it out.
That's Keanu Reeves from Speed, and his problem in the movie Johnny Mnemonic, he's carrying information implanted in his brain. That's his job. But he's got so much info embedded in his noggin that it could kill him if agents from an evil corporation don't do it first. Obviously, the computer cyberspace revolution is a fertile territory for all kinds of movies, but how exciting can a movie be that takes place in somebody's head or inside of a machine? That's the challenge of Johnny Mnemonic, and that's why Johnny Mnemonic, despite all of its high-tech gadgets, breaks down into more of a traditional action picture than I think it would like to be. Here, Reeves instructs renegade workers from the film's evil corporation how to load and unload information into his brain. It's too valuable to be carried any other way.
Upload begins when you press here. Hit me.
But problems soon arise. At the Newark airport, 21st century courier Johnny is scanned and diagnosed as having a potentially lethal implant.
Warning, detected synaptic seepage. Neural failure within 24 hours. Seek medical attention immediately.
Thank you.
Welcome to Newark.
Johnny does get sick and is ambushed and awakens to find a bad guy named Ralphie, played by Udo Kier, standing over him, along with an agent of the evil corporation. But take away the high tech, and it's the same old threatening setup we've seen before in a movie that with a better sense of humor would be called Bring Me the Head of Johnny Mnemonic.
They don't just want the data. They want everything it's ever been stored in. There's less danger of information decay.
Of course, Johnny has a girlfriend played by Dina Meyer, and they are befriended by Ice-T, the rap star, playing the leader of the Low-Techs, computer nerds who fight the corporation's hired guns.
Now.
The film was directed by well-known 80s artist Robert Longo, whose charcoal drawings of men in motion are Generation X icons, but I didn't find any equally memorable images or thoughtful images in Johnny Mnemonic. The mix of standard movie elements and new technology just didn't gel.
Well, I agree with you pretty much right down the line on this. If you look at the plot, it's a guy has a lot of something valuable and wants to go from A to B with it, and the mob wants it too, and they're going to chase him there, and the girl helps him. And also, in the 21st century, the notion that you couldn't encrypt this material and squirt it by satellite anywhere you wanted to in a second
Which is being done all the time.
Which is being done right now.
And will be done
so
by any intelligence agency in the future.
Of course, so in the 21st century, this wouldn't be a problem. There is one thing I liked, and that is some of the computer graphics. For example, in virtual reality, when he manages to physically get inside the internet and move things around, that's good looking. But the movie doesn't have, the plot doesn't have the imagination to deserve those sorts of graphics.
Okay, when we come back, Roman Polanski stages a strange inquisition in a pure formality.
Formality, and it's from the Italian director Giuseppe Tornatore, whose Cinema Paradiso was one of the all-time foreign film hits a few years ago. This new movie strikes an entirely different tone. Set in a grim landscape of rain and mud, it takes place almost entirely inside a leaky police headquarters where a man named On-Off, that's an interesting name, On-Off, has been brought for questioning after being picked up while staggering down a country lane. He's played by Gerard Depardieu and is brought before an inspector played by Roman Polanski.
Je pense pas que ce soit un crime ou un délit d'être sans papier. J'ai laissé mon portefeuille sur mon bureau.
Certainement.
À la pose d'une autre veste.
Tout d'abord, j'aimerais bien savoir à qui j'ai le plaisir de parler.
The inspector is delighted to discover that his prisoner is his favorite writer, but all the same, the investigation must continue, even though it's not clear exactly why On-Off is there or what he has been charged with.
Je vous le répète, c'est rien de grave. Quelques petites questions, juste une formalité.
As the questioning continues, On-Off's amnesia about the previous day begins to lift, and he remembers some of the events leading up to his arrest. In its style and purpose, A Pure Formality is positioned halfway between Kafka and Samuel Beckett. The movie starts out looking completely realistic, but eventually we begin to gather that the isolated station and its weary inspector are symbolic in some way of the human condition. We also begin to gather that the movie is going to consist of a very long series of long conversations in which Polanski and Depardieu are at cross purposes. And since the key to the conversation becomes clear to us quite a while before it does to Depardieu, the movie is more of an exercise than a real drama.
Did you like it?
No.
You didn't recommend it?
No.
I am going to recommend it because of these two actors.
Okay.
First of all, I think we ought to do a show sometime about Gerard Depardieu. I don't know of an actor that establishes credibility instantly in more different kinds of roles than Gerard Depardieu worldwide. It's just amazing what his range is, and he does it without a lot of artifice.
Oh, he's the best, yeah.
Then Polanski. Again, Roman Polanski, we've said this before, his name is caught up with personal controversies, and I don't think he'll ever get the credit he deserves. But now, as an actor, he's able to keep up with, and he doesn't do it earlier in his career, sometimes he'd play these whiny, weird characters, or sometimes even in Chinatown, you'd think it was a mannered performance. This is a very natural piece of work. I liked it for the theoretical reasons that you were talking about. I liked it for the playing of the two stars.
Well, I have to agree with you that the acting is good, but it seemed to me that once I understood what the movie was about, there was less there than I hoped for.
It doesn't pay off at the end.
Okay, coming up next, inspired by the release of Mel Gibson's Braveheart, our video pick of the week is another medieval drama.
Plaza, offering the finest in luxury service in Southern California style, adjacent to Beverly Hills on LA's fashionable West Side. The Century Plaza Hotel and Tower, a Westin hotel.
As I mentioned when reviewing Mel Gibson's Braveheart, I admired how dirty the world of that film was, that it captured the filth of the 13th century. The other film that comes to mind for having the same quality is my choice of our video pick of the week, Roman Polanski's little seen but superb Macbeth from 1971 with John Finch as a scheming Scottish lord and Francesca Annis as his lady.
I'll drug their possets.
When in swinish sleep, their drenched natures lie as in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan?
Polanski's Macbeth, with a screenplay by Kenneth Tynan, was made shortly after the brutal murder of Polanski's pregnant wife, Sharon Tate. And so much of the buzz about the film concerned its bloodiness. But what impressed me as a critic then is how much more real it seemed than other stagey or prettified versions of its drama or other period films from the same medieval era.
Behold! Look! I say you! A vulture prick my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Roman Polanski's Macbeth, our video pick of the week. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs up for Casper, the mostly entertaining special effects-laden comedy about that friendly ghost. Cutting-edge special effects. A split vote on Mad Love with Chris O'Donnell as a moth drawn to the suicidal flame of Drew Barrymore. I thought the movie was overwrought. Roger, however, felt it captured the complexity of the situation properly. 2 thumbs up for Mel Gibson's Braveheart, the Scottish epic that is intense and exciting. 2 thumbs down for Johnny Mnemonic, the goofy cyberspace thriller with Keanu Reeves. And finally, a split vote on A Pure Formality with Gerard Depardieu as a man who doesn't even know if he's guilty of murder. I thought it was a terrific drama. Roger felt it was more an exercise in style. We both liked the performances. So of the group, for me, Braveheart is the best of the bunch.
Me too, and Casper for the family. Yeah, that's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with a special show about the phenomenon of Quentin Tarantino, who has only directed 2 movies, but is already one of the best-known and most influential filmmakers and personalities in America. We're calling it Pulp Faction, the Tarantino generation. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Berkline's new Feather Glide recliner glides easily, swivels through a full circle, and reclines effortlessly with fingertip touch motion. Berkline, the perfect gift of comfort. Unscented Lever 2000, the mildest deodorant soap, so it's best for your skin, even the most sensitive skin. Unscented Lever 2000. Remington's Triple Foil, the only shaver with 3 narrow micro screens designed for those hard-to-shave places. If you can grow it, we can shave it. Remington Triple Foil. Jergens Refreshing Body Shampoo. For a clean that never felt so good, squeeze for yourself.